Tropical Storm Irene hit on August 28th, 2011. It was actually the fourth declared disaster in Vermont that year, so our brave little state withstood a great deal of weather events. When Irene hit, though, it was another incredibly severe storm. The impacts were severe and widespread. Out of Vermont's 251 municipalities, 225 were impacted in some way by Irene, and roughly 50 towns severely impacted. We know that over 7,000 individuals registered with FEMA. We know that 3,500 homes were damaged, 500 mobile homes damaged, and many mobile home parks. We know that 20,000 acres of farm land was flooded, and hundreds of businesses very impacted as well. So the impact of this storm was very severe. And as incredible as the damage was, spontaneous volunteers came to the rescue almost instantly, and by the thousands. Vermonters came together in remarkable ways. They mucked out homes, they fed one another. Over 16,000 meals were produced and given out by volunteers. They clothed one another. There were spontaneous donations and areas of where to receive and collect donations all over the state. Hundreds of businesses gave material, whether it was clothing or goods. The ski resorts stepped up in tremendous ways, offering temporary shelter that went on, in some cases, for many months. Roads and bridges were tremendously impacted. Over 500 miles of roads were impacted by Irene. That would be state roads. And 34 bridges totally washed away. That's on the state system. As amazing as the community and individual response was the response of our transportation workers. As we traveled around the state, the governor reviewed the impact and the damage by helicopter. He thought, and no one thought, we could ever recover the way we did. We knew that winter would be bearing down, and we had to get the roads up in time for winter. And it was really an economic scare because every east-west corridor was severed. And we began to be concerned about the ability to deliver goods and services throughout the state, including essential goods like fuel and food. So we had to work very quickly, and we did. And we did it by state government partnering with many other entities. The spirit of collaboration and partnership was amazing and was essential to our success. 7 different states supplied National Guard troops. We actually had transportation workers from neighboring states of New Hampshire and Maine support us as well. The state of Maine supplied 149 workers and equipment for 2 weeks that came over in a convoy. And of course the private sector was incredible. Over 200 private firms participated in the recovery in some way. And the unthinkable was accomplished. We managed to get all of the state roads and bridges up in record time and at half the cost we estimated it at the initial start of the recovery. So when we opened the last mile of state road damaged, Route 107, on the last day of 2011, it was a great celebration. But now, 1 year later, we recognize that while our recovery has been remarkable and really a model for this country, there is still, at this time, a long way to go for many. Most of Vermont has recovered, and most Vermonters see Irene as something of a history. But for those who are still impacted, it is a daily challenge. And it really is a challenge for individuals whose homes were devastated. And because of that, many Vermonters were displaced from their home, and it is our goal to get all Vermonters back into permanent, safe housing. We know that while 7,000 people registered with FEMA, there are still many for whom the federal government allocation, a maximum grant of $30,000, was not enough. And so we have a statewide organization, the Disaster Relief Fund, that continues to raise money and allocate to survivors. We also have a network of long-term recovery committees established throughout the state, 9 different committees, where volunteers continue to meet and organize and assist survivors. And we have a network of case managers who are actually funded through FEMA as a long-term recovery program. Irene brought debris to our rivers. All kinds of things were washed down the river with the homes, the cars, the appliances, fuel tanks, and of course trees and boulders. Some areas are still plagued with tons of debris all in a pile. We are trying, actually the Natural Resources Conservation Service, a federal agency, is actually working in 50 different communities helping to remove debris. We have volunteers mobilizing to help, a chainsaw brigade to get out and try to remove debris, primarily from both private property owners, but also from farms. Many farmers are still trying to plow down 4 feet of silt that Irene carried into their land. The ongoing recovery effort really does still rely on volunteers, just as it did in the immediate response, and we are enormously thankful and proud of the Vermont strong spirit that continues to carry us forward in our recovery, even 1 year later as we mark its anniversary.